My fellow American consumers, boy do I have something cool to show you today in a line of handheld gaming apparati. Sure, you could buy a Nintendo Switch, but they are still horrendously overpriced, and the PSP has gone the way of the dodo for the past 10 years. But today, I have something new to show you, something I concocted myself. This is the Jamswell handheld gaming console. It features 600, no, not 600, 200, 250, 300? No, 369 games in one. It features 369 games. Can you believe that? When you're not smoking your Marlboros, you can be playing this. But don't just take my word for it. Take a look at these heartwarming testimonials.
Hi, I'm a runner, and if there's one thing that makes those long runs a little bit more fun, it's this, the Jamswell. Let me tell you, this bad boy is so much fun. Can't believe how much fun it is, and let me tell you, you'll have a lot of fun. This really changed my life. I know you won't believe it, but it changed my life. My wife, my ex-wife now, she left, but I had the Jamswell, and it was, let me tell you, it brightened my days. And it just, this is a remarkable little device here. Well, better get back to it.
Wow, wasn't that something? Take a look at this next one.
Yo, what's up, dude? My name is Steven X, and today I'm here to show you, what is this? The Jamswell thing. It's super cool. I used to be a dumb hipster nerd like you, but ever since I got the Jamswell, I'm the coolest man alive. Everybody says so. Oh yeah! This thing does so many cool freaking things. You can play all my favorite games, and you can play all my favorite music. Everybody says the Jamswell is cool, so why don't you buy one, huh? Why don't you buy one? Why don't you buy one? Just buy one right now, it's so cool!
Boy, wouldn't you like to be him? He's cool. Now, buy the Jamswell handheld gaming console. Only $69.99. That's right, $69.99.
Warning, the Jamswell gaming console does not contain any original video games. The console does not perform to the standard of any kind of quality gaming hardware. Playing the Jamswell for extended periods of time may cause loss of sanity, loss of association, friendships, pets, computers, clocks, garbage bags, brain cells, and many more. Consult your local person with no less video game hardware before purchasing. Please do not contact Jamswell with questions, concerns, or complaints. We will either care or do anything to help you. Thanks, but no thanks.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Search Plug and Play Game Console into the Amazon search bar, you will be greeted with tons of quality gaming hardware. The NES Classic, Sega Genesis Classic, and Atari Flashback, to name a few. However, the further south you travel down that long road that is Amazon's catalog, you will find things that are not so good. Upon searching Plug and Play Game Console into the Amazon search bar, I found this. This is the Jamswell handheld gaming console. The first non-mainstream plug-and-play console to show up on the site. So do you know what this means? This means that Amazon is pushing for this thing. They want you to buy this and play it. They expect you to. But should you? Well, let me explain the console a little bit more. It claims to have 400 games built in from the box. You don't need to download and install ROMs and load them onto an SD card from the internet or anything like that. All 400 games are on here from the get-go, which I guess is pretty cool. But what's not cool about this thing is, well, you're watching this video, aren't you? Join me when we delve into Amazon's very own handheld gaming console. The system itself is designed in a style similar to the original Game Boy or Game Boy Color. It features a textured front and a smooth back, a D-pad, which I'll touch on a little later, a reset button, X, Y, A, and B buttons, and start and select buttons. You know, pretty standard for any gaming controller that's ever existed. Flipping the system over and opening the back reveals a cell phone type battery. This battery appears to be quite proprietary, correct me if I'm wrong, so if it goes, so does your system. I would have been a lot more comfortable with this device if it used, say, AA or AAA batteries, because I have tons of those lying around. If I lose this battery, it's bye-bye Jamswell, which might be for the better, to be honest. Not only do you get the console itself in the box, but you also get a Famicom-style controller in there too. It even has the Player 2 label on it. This controller, if I'm going to be honest with you, sucks. For one, it doesn't work if you choose to play as Player 1. Its sole purpose is to be used as a Player 2 controller. This console outputs, in outdated AV by the way, to your TV. So if you want to play these games comfortably while playing on the TV, tough luck. You have to hold the console itself in your hands while staring at your TV or monitor. Which in that case you might as well unplug it from your TV and play it in handheld mode, because you'd get the same if not better experience that way. I should also add that if you happen to be Player 2 and get this controller handed to you, you're better off running away and grabbing your nearest hammer in order to break your fingers to save yourself from the abysmal horror of how this controller feels. The buttons feel, for lack of a better word, disgusting, and aren't even labeled, might I add. The D-pad does have a central pivot, so it has a plus. However, the cord sticks out of the side. Don't ask me why they thought this was a good idea. And overall, this controller is light as a feather. Like, it's almost suspiciously light. Now let's talk about the console's features. It includes a backlit screen, which should be pretty standard nowadays. How long it will last before it burns out, that's still in the air. It still works 2 years after I bought it, so I guess 0.1 for the Jamswell. The D-pad on here doesn't have a central pivot, unlike its crappy counterpart, and the buttons feel... I don't know how to describe it. They feel clunky, but soft at the same time. When you press one down, the others give slightly, which is weird. The labels on the back of the system to tell where the on-off switch, AV out, and controller charger ports on are printed upside down. Which I guess is kinda cool, because you can just flip the thing to be able to read them, instead of using a lot of gamer energy and turning the thing in your hands. Now, enough talk. Let's get into some of the worst games on this system. And believe me when I tell you, we're gonna go down a rabbit hole eventually. Upon firing up the system, you are greeted to the language selection screen. Chinese or English. Excellent options here. I chose English because I felt cool, and... Wait a minute. Is that Chip from Mickey Mouse? Oh, Disney's not gonna like this. The first game you can play is obviously Super Mario Bros. Every plug-and-play game console has this one on here. Unfortunately, and honestly not surprisingly, the game has a lot of problems. The characters flicker, there's lots of screen tearing, and the controls don't seem to be as fluent as they are on their original hardware. It makes a game as simple as Super Mario Bros. A pretty big challenge. Obviously, the system is going to be chock full of NES and Famicom games because, well, they're easy to emulate nowadays. Games like Super Mario Bros. 3, Dr. Mario, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games all seem to run fine. Although Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is in Japanese for some reason, I'm just going to leave it at that. But I'm going to take a minute here and find a really weird game to show you. Okay, here's one. Mario 14. The second game listed on here. We are starting early. This game is supposedly a ROM hack of a Kid Nicky game and was made by none other than Wario himself. Did Wario make a good game? Well, let's dissect this a little bit. Flickering is present once again, and Mario's sole move, you know, jumping on enemies' heads and killing them, doesn't work here. Instead, you need to use your Supersonic Fireball Stamping to kill the enemies from a range. If you jump at just the right time, you'll see that Wario didn't do too good of a job hacking this one because Kid Nicky makes a guest appearance by merging himself into Mario's form. Terrible game, Wario. Contra 24 in 1. I feel like this is cheating because we're actually getting 424 games instead of 400 on here. Let's look into this. I've never been a fan of Contra in the first place, but this game, I don't even know if I would count it as a game, is the definition of insanity. You get Contra, it's the original Contra. Obviously, surprise, surprise. But then you have 23 other versions of the exact same game. All of these games are the same Contra. Nothing's changed, except that you start off with a different weapon each time. Let me repeat that. It's the same game, repeated 24 times. You start on the same level, you're the same character, you fight the same enemies, but you have a different weapon. There's no turning back now. Sure, this thing is a bunch of games from Nintendo and Konami, but they've also thrown in some utterly strange and amusing ROM hacks on here as well. Let me begin. Mortal Kombat 4. Mortal Kombat 4? I'm pretty sure Mortal Kombat 4 came out for the PlayStation. And speaking of which, where are Mortal Kombats 1 through 3 then? Why did they skip to the 4th? Let's find out. This game is a ROM hack of something, probably a Mortal Kombat game. But look at this character select screen. It repeats the same 5 characters over and over again to give it the appearance of the game having a whole roster of people to play as. Unbelievable! What's the gameplay like? Impossible. The AI is so advanced or something. Maybe I'm just bad. I don't know. I don't care. But you don't have a chance to win. The AI will massacre you without warning. You won't be able to block or counterattack him. You could say that it's cool to play Mortal Kombat on an NES ROM, but there's probably a reason that game didn't release on the NES. Do I want to continue? Well, let me think about that. No! Aladdin 3. But where's Aladdin's 1 and 2? Man, this console likes to skip games and groundbreaking series. Anyway, it's a game based off of a movie that wouldn't have been out at the time of release if this was released on an NES. Yeah, I know the wonderful Lamp Tale has been around longer than that. Anyway, hope you enjoy the most ear-rapey music loop played over and over again. You're playing as Aladdin, obviously, and you need to shoot down insects, birds, and the occasional cyborg ninja that will just love to end your game without giving you a chance of retaliation. Why?
Rush Roller!
Why, hello, Papa Smurf. I haven't seen you since I was sick from school that morning in 2nd grade. This game is a Pac-Man-like clone. The only difference is that instead of eating dots, you paint the road. The knockoff ghosts do not have different personalities or movements depending on the color, like in the actually fun game that is Pac-Man. They all move at the same speed. This makes outrunning them mind-numbingly stressful. Overall, this game is trash. Radon Bungling. Are we searching for radon test kits or? Oh, it's actually Radon Bungling Bay. And I can't play this one because the background doesn't load and the screen flickers and there's almost no enemies. It's terrible. I don't know if the actual game played this way or if it's just this crappy system emulating this game poorly. Muscle. I'm fairly certain this is a ROM hack of another actual Nintendo game that was unarguably better. Nonetheless, this game doesn't work either. What I mean is, the ring you fight in doesn't load properly, so it's cut off in the dead center. And to top it all off, the tiny little section of the background you get to see just repeats itself on the other side. How lazy did you have to be when you were emulating this ROM to forget to load the background properly? Unacceptable! This game is called Nibbles. Instead of the title screen, we get to see the code or something for this game. Oh no, never mind, I guess there is a title screen. 25% done. Are they talking about the game? Probably, because the only things visible on the screen are the snake, apples, and the border or obstacles. The rest of the screen is just blue. This game is the original version of Snake that released for Windows PCs in the 90s, but why did the creators of the system choose this version of Snake to rip off? They do know there are other much better Snake ROMs out there, right? Right? Probably not, but I guess this one's passable. Destroy 1. From everyone's favorite game company, Dizigum. Wait, Mario Start? As far as I'm aware, this doesn't appear to be Mario. Maybe it's a different Mario. I don't know. Either way, this game is pretty self-explanatory. Climb the vines, break the items, avoid the woman. Easy for gamers, am I right? Gig Dug 2. Oh, it's actually Dig Dug 2. Made by Namcot. This game is just Dig Dug 2. Nothing's really changed here besides the music being slightly altered, so this one gets a pass besides the 2 typos I mentioned. X to X's. This one is a mutilated Capcom game. And by mutilated, you'd better believe it's mutilated. You play as Space PP, but you can't do anything with it. Well, you can shoot things out of it, but you can't really see them due to how disgusting this background looks. Everything just blends together. Ugh, this just hurts my eyes to watch. I don't know how bad of an emulator this console's using, but it must really be bad to look like this.
So as you can clearly see, this console is pretty mediocre at best so far. It can't properly emulate games, and the games that it chose to emulate in the first place aren't even that good. However, upon arriving into the late 100s of the game selection screen, I found some things that made me just drop my jaw. I found original games. Original games. The makers of the Jamswell handcrafted some original games. Some that we've seen before in the past. And they put them on there
And I sat there and I played every single one of them. And I'm going to show you every single one of them. There's no turning back now. We're going to the deep end. Let's go. Alright, here we go. This first game is special. Fruit dish. Well, actually it's not special at all, it's more like a chore. Match up the fruit labeled on the pipe to the fruit magically falling from the sky. Only a first grader would enjoy this due to its mind-numbingly simple gameplay. Actually, now that I think about it, even they would rather go watch TV or something than play this. You know what, just keep this game away from you and the youth of our world. Sound good? Pyramid! It's a columns clone, and that's not even a pyramid. Yes, I'm aware that there are two pyramids to the left and right, but why is the center of our attention focused on the Sphinx? But I guess if you like columns, you might like this one. Route 16, our first repeat from my first plug-and-play video from 2017. Route 16, for some reason that they needed to put this in there. And you will die many, many times. There will be more of them, trust me. New Man. Oops, sorry, my bad. The new type. In this totally immersive gaming experience, you play as a caveman trying to make his way in this world. You can kill pink things. Yes, you can also jump around. You can even shoot moths from your bare fists. Oh yeah, there's also flying fish that kill you instantly. Horrible game. Quarth. Wow, they actually put a decent game on here. Quarth is a challenging puzzle game for the NES. Let's try it out. It just keeps getting worse. I didn't even know what this is supposed to be. This is definitely not Quarth. This is like a nursery school matching game. And before you ask, is it fun, Matt? Matt, is it fun? Is it so much fun? It's not. But that shouldn't surprise you at this point. Wisdom. Oh, come on. It's Wisdom Boy. This game, I don't even know if I can call it a game without vomiting in my mouth, is a block puzzle. That is it. It's a block puzzle. Fantastic. This game is called Jump Jump. Take a look at this title screen. Rest in peace, wife-beater chicken thing. Now let's talk about the game. In short, it sucks. In long, it really sucks. It's kind of like an NES version of Doodle Jump if it was just plain awful. Aquarium!
Witness the extravagance of undersea life in the most lifeless way possible. Illegally feed the aquatic creatures food from their required diets, such as cheese, bananas, pizza, brown things, stones, and apples. Watch the fish shriek in terror as they behold the predator's appearance. A green teddy bear child. Ah yes, the aquatic life is indeed breathtaking.
Arena! Take a listen to this title screen music. Isn't that beautiful? This game appears to be a reskin of a game I reviewed in my first plug-and-play video. You play as Sir Knightly Fist Pump, and your goal is to absorb every other knight that gets in your way. I should also add that the messed up title screen music will eventually fix itself. Take a listen. Awful Rushing. Excellent wording on that title, considering this game is on this system. Okay, let's see what we have here. Well, they didn't put awful in the title screen for nothing! Anyone for a cool glass of cannonade? Nobody? This game was present on the first plug-and-play console I talked about. It's painfully unrewarding, maliciously tedious, and just an all-around bad time. Close quarters. This game kind of reminds me of another game that was on the first console video. I wonder if, there it is! Aimless! The name speaks for itself. These two games are just reskins of each other, and both are just as unplayable. Cub Adventure, another reskin of a game that was on the old video, except the one on the old video had a way better name, Grot Kid. Either way, Cub Adventure does not have you play as a bear cub, although there is one present in the game. Instead, you play as a ghost with a ponytail. This guy is clearly a Los Angeles hipster, and his name is definitely Jason. So Jason's goal is to walk around this iceberg, avoid the beached whales and polar bears, and pick up some orange goo that's lying on the ground. What's the goo for? Probably his daily morning protein shake. Whoa, his ponytail turned into a helicopter. Is there nothing Los Angelites can't do? Devil-dum-doom, devil-dum-doom, devil-dum, devil-dum-doom. Red Mega Man runs around a maze to avoid things, and that's it. What a game! Diamond, another repeat. I actually enjoy this game, even though it's a knockoff of Arkanoid. The only difference is that this console seems to have tons of audio glitches compared to the version on the 64-in-1. When you press a button, the audio gets muted temporarily. I shouldn't pin this problem on one game though, because this issue is present on every other custom game on this console. 5 days. What a title. That's how many days it took me to play this stupid console! Anyway, sorry. You play as an army man whose mission is a doozy. For this brave soldier must situate himself at his turret post, shooting down his fellow companions who are all blissfully unaware of his presence on the battlefield. Fail to kill all the men on your side and you have failed your country. Frantic Mouse. This one is a reskin of a game I've covered before, however this time you play as a mouse who needs to jump from cloud to cloud. The only issue with this is that the hitboxes on the clouds are, as the cool kids say, janky. Yes, the janky hitboxes on these clouds cause this mouse to become unable to complete his jumps. So, instead of actually and realistically landing on the clouds, he will just fall right through them. Every time! What a joke! Galligant. Boring, boring, boring. Garden War. Same game, nothing's different except for the birds and the bees, and I mean that in a literal sense, you perverts. Gate! Schmoovin' Pink Skull traverses a maze full of magic portals and whatever those are, in order to collect hearts. It's pretty straightforward, and what was most frustrating was how long it took me to actually find the character I was playing as. The game goes to no effort to start you in an area that actually makes sense, like say, the middle of the screen, where most games like this begin. Nope, top right corner. Okay, have fun, bud, you're on your own. You can call it a hootenanny, a ricky-ticky man, or a big bopper, but that don't help this game for squat. You play as a ghost of all things, and all in all, it's the same as the last game I talked about. Hexapod. It's Galaga with sea urchins. Hexapod War. It's not Galaga with sea urchins.
Lunarian.
Daring today, aren't we? This is the third rehash of this exact game. I surely hope there won't be any more on here. Mad Xmas. Okay, so you play as either an elf or a child on Christmas morning who's trying to catch gifts that cheesed off Santa is throwing down to the ground from the heavens above. You got traditional Christmas-themed items such as candy canes, presents, you get the deal. But sometimes this jerk of a Santa Claus will toss down some really messed up stuff like a literal demon head. What is happening? Who's this supposed Mr. Claus that's tossing down demon heads? Wait.
Merry Christmas, boys from Going Obscure.
No. Not Nick! Panzer Attack. Why, it's basically the same game again, except now we have to shoot these green things. This console keeps getting worse. Pentabase. Cannon? Question mark? Shoots at weird-looking pink devil things, but the cannon's shots don't go the distance. Enough said. Pobble. Road Fighter. Air Alert. This is a ROM hack of Xevious by Namco, which I am a fan of. I love the iconic intro music that plays before a level from that game. Take a listen. Okay, pretty good. How did Amazon's Jamswell respond back? Ooh, that's not good. And you have to hear that wretched sound every time you start a level in this game, which will be often as it's pretty challenging. Burbles. What does that even mean? Apparently Burbles is another reskin of that stupid cannon game that's been duplicated more than a few times already. This time, you're a jeep with a turret on its back that's shooting down unarmed soldiers that are falling down from the sky. They don't attack you, so this is technically a really messed up game because I'm gonna make the assumption that you are playing as some sort of militia crew that are shooting unarmed innocent civilians from the sky. This game is pretty straightforward and easy as the people you kill in cold blood fall down in the slowest way possible. Burrow Explorer. This one's a repeat from the 64-in-1. You're a miner or something that walks around a dark maze filled with little blobs that kill you because you can only see 2 nanometers in front of you. Ugh. Of all the hopelessly disgusting games present on this system, my least favorites have to be, well, the Road Fighter clones, but in second place are the several Battleship-like games on here. They're all the same, and each are just as terrible. I'm not even gonna force you to sit through all these individually.
Randy Hingle Dingle steps up to bat. Pitch is thrown. Live drive into the outfield. Second baseman Jerry Hodgins swipes it up. Keeps it. Throws it to first. Not sure why he did that. He's already safe. Okay, up next we have Barry Waterbury stepping up to bat. Another short hit to the infield, recovered by the shortstop, who will choose to throw it back to the pitcher, who will then throw it back into the infield. Oh, okay, wow, it looks like the game is broken. Well, we'd like to thank you all for coming out to the opening week of the LLB Loser League Baseball. Have a good night, everybody.
Bubble! I've seen this one before, and it's a rehash of Burbles. Great!
Coast Guard.
This game is really, really messed up. If you don't catch my drift, allow me to explain. You were supposedly the Coast Guard, right? And you're in the rescue plane, but you'd better not believe for a second that you're here to rescue anyone. Nope, for this Coast Guard is a very angry type who wishes that no single soul set foot on his beach.
Oh, you're trying to jet ski? Well, ba-boom, you little scallywag. Hope you like dying. Ah, rich businessman is going for a leisurely afternoon drive on his yacht. Well, how about you invest in this missile? Yeah.
The only explanation I can think of as to why this man is bombing innocent people is that maybe these people are trespassing on private military waters. But I don't know why the Coast Guard's only solution to this problem is to flat out bomb them. And I should add that this game isn't even playable in the slightest. Dune War!
Okay, Private, your mission is simple. It's, where you going, Private?
Gus, where the heck is Private going?
I don't know, Sarge. Private, don't go that way. Private!
Get him out of there! He's a one-man army!
Private, get down! Get out of there!
Private,
Private!
no! I think Private died!
What an idiot.
Firebase. And it's the exact same concept as those other tank games. You know what, I remember playing this one from the 64 and 1, and from what I remember, it's super easy because all you have to do is sit in that one spot and shoot up endlessly at those pink missiles. And this game only has 6 levels, and then it ends. So you know what? I'm gonna beat this thing right now so we never have to see another one of these stupid tank games ever again. Wait, why won't level 6 end? It's been 3 minutes and it's still going! It just never ends! Same thing over and over again! I just can't! First Defender, well, this is certainly another repeat, and it's just Space Invaders. You know, the game actually runs correctly on this system compared to the 64 one. For reasons, what I mean is the ships actually speed up as you progress through the levels, unlike what happened on that other console. So this one is fine, I guess. David Bowie is nowhere to be found in this version of Labyrinth. And this, well, I don't know what's going on here. This doesn't work. Let's move on. Okay, motorboat. Sounds kind of familiar and Rural Goblin.
You see, that is, actually a beat, not a goblin.
Yeah, I see that. But at this point in this video, it doesn't surprise me that they messed that up. And this game is kind of just whack-a-mole with multicolored beats. It's pretty easy. You just press any button whenever a beat or sunflower, for some reason, pops out of one of those holes. And the red ones kind of look like fishing bobbers, which is weird, I guess.
How a robot!
This one's special. Take a gander at this title screen before I begin. Brilliant. If you want to play a game that has both poor controls and impossible gameplay, play this one. You have to situate this robot guy in a certain angle in order to make him jump to one of those moving platforms there. Sounds easy enough, right? Wrong! You see, the hitboxes on these platforms suck, so you will fall through them or just miss them completely due to this broken robot mechanic. Jumping from one platform to another will have you screaming your head off, because one mistimed jump will send you all the way back down. I just hated this game. Seasoned Garden is just whack-a-mole, whack-a-alien face-hugger squid thing. I will admit the title of this game lives up to its gameplay because you actually progress through all the seasons. Spring, summer, and autumn. Yep, the gang's all here. Game over. Shrew Mouse. Well, I have a feeling this guy on the title screen would not go over well in today's cancel culture. Anyway, what it is basically just like Tron, I guess. Paint as much of the screen as you can. I actually have no idea why this is called Shrew Mouse, and Blackface Bear over here is even more confusing. Snowball! I hate this! Starfighter! They can't keep rehashing this game, just end it already!
Silent Hunter.
Well, this is a boring excuse for a game. You're in a submarine, I assume, and you float around in the murky depths of the ocean trying to find enemies that will never come. Oh, wait, I think I saw one. Oh, no, never mind. I think it was just my reputation flying away because I've been playing this game for over 5 minutes. The Archer. I've seen this before. Same game, different assets. This thing is getting lazier and lazier by the second.
Hey, have you ever wanted to play a fun video game? Well, boy, I have something that doesn't fit that description right here. This is Twin Cards. That's right, Twin Cards. And it feels like I'm in Vegas right now. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, comprende? Because I stole a couple things that I put into this here game. You want to know what? Well, you see that right there? You think that looks a whole lot like Mickey Mouse, right? Well, I can assure you, that is not Michael Mouse. You can match up pictures. That is not him. You know what else you can match up? Pictures. Match up cars, vans, trucks, and boats. And as an added bonus, whenever you beat a level, I'll destroy what little of your ears you have left by playing this god-awful noise that will completely destroy them. That's right, buy it now. Twin Cards, buy it.
I hate this game so much. You're an army man who must walk around a maze and shoot at balloons, and I think that's the tank from Jackal. Anyway, this game doesn't really have an ending. You just kind of walk around until it's game over as far as I could tell. And by the way, when you get hurt, Mr. Army Man here gets stage fright and stops moving, in addition to getting a little sweaty. I should also give the game creators props. Great job on copying and pasting those mountains on both the top and bottom of the screen. I just love how the PNG of the mountain just kind of starts at the top. It's like they couldn't have just turned the image upside down. Yeah, it would have looked weird, but at least it would have looked more polished. Just giving you game hackers out there some tips. Abscondi! Well, that's not creepy at all. I feel like I just finished playing this game, only this time I actually have a goal to complete. Collect those orange blobs and avoid the murderous fan blades which move on a whim. So it's almost impossible to time this little ghost guy's run without getting hurt, which you will every time.
Ether Cruiser.
Is that a flask? Maybe? So you're a magic space flask that shoots things. I'm gonna lose it. I've been playing this same game over and over, it feels like. Aim Cruise. You're an airplane in space that shoots down an endless barrage of enemies. Great. Also, take a look at the intro animation for this game. I feel like more effort was put into that than the rest of the game. Animal Contest. I want you to take a look at this game's gameplay for a second and try to figure out how it works. Give up? Good, because I did too. I don't even know what's going on here. This is kind of like War, you know, War the card game, except it's with animals. And why that's so weird is because what are we comparing here? In the card game that is War, the higher number wins. But there are no numbers here, nope, just animals. Are we comparing which animal eats the other? Maybe, because I could see an elephant eating a dog. I guess, although that's not a scenario I've ever wanted to imagine in my head. But then you get stuff like this. Okay, alright, so a dog can get eaten by an elephant, but that same dog can eat a freaking lion! What? Ugh, I don't know if I can go on. I think I need some help. Yeah, someone who can get through this with me. Even if only for a little bit. And I know just the person.
Nutsmilk is a game present on this system. Its origins are unknown, and its purpose is non-existent. Actually, this game is more commonly known as Nuts and Milk, For some reason, the word "and" was cut off. Anyway, you play as the character, Yellow Kirby. No, White Kirby, I think. Anyway, the game essentially plays like a Donkey Kong Jr. ripoff. Collect all the shiny red apples in order to unlock the cage wherein female White Kirby is being held. In my opinion, this game is not very good. It controls sloppy, looks bad, and is, well, pardon my language, but it's doggy doo-doo. At least when it's emulated on this console. Angry Birds. Oh, it's actually just Angry Bird. Good enough, I guess. Angry Bird is another mysterious game on this system. Upon starting up the game, you will see that it's not actually the game we knew and loved to play on our parents' tablets back in 2011. It is a disgusting mess. Your simple goal is to jump from pillar to pillar while simultaneously jumping on top of the blue pigs in order to kill them. You should progress to the next level by jumping from each pillar until you land on that final platform with the 2 blue doors there. Just because I said you should progress does not mean you actually can. If you miss a single jump, which will always happen, you will fall down and land in between whichever 2 pillars you fell from. You cannot jump back up. All you can do is break them, in turn making the first level of the game unbeatable. Not that you would want to continue playing this game anyway, because come on, look at it. Join us again next time when we once again go obscure.
Whoa, hold on! This video isn't over yet, unfortunately.
You should probably stop now. You'll want to retain your sanity for our show.
Going obscure can wait for a bit. Blox World! This is just not good at all. It's put the Tetris blocks into the empty spots on the grid, the video game. You use this super slow moving mouse cursor, and sometimes when you think you have a block lined up correctly, the game will glitch and the cursor will move the block up 1 space on the grid, leading to a very, very frustrating experience. Bug catcha. I love this guy on the title screen. By far the best thing about this game. Now you play as crackpot Mike Wazowski from Monsters Inc., and he needs to catch worms that are magically falling from the sky. When I first played this one, I assumed you had to catch every single worm that fell. So I did, and probably got a game over. So I tried again. Same outcome. So you can imagine I was a tad frustrated at this point, so I looked into this game. Apparently, you must catch the colored worms that correspond to the color of Mike. In this first level, he is milk white, so you must catch the milk white worms. In level 2, he's green, in level 3, he's red, and in level 4, he's back to his old milky self. What was pretty irritating in this one was the fact that the colored worms Mike needs to catch seem to rarely fall, so you will be waiting there for quite a long time before one shows up. I just don't like it. Busy bye. Okay, here we have Jerry from Tom and Jerry, but specifically that one episode where Jerry went to New York. Sorry. Anyway, listen to the title screen music for this a bit. I feel like I'm at a circus for some reason. That music goes a little hard for a bartending game. And that's exactly what it is, a bartending game. So you're Jerry, and you have to slide drinks down a bar, where forced animals will sit and order from a variety of choices.
Medium red, slightly larger blue, big pink, and back to medium yellow.
And I thought this could be a decent game, but of course it wasn't. Because, well, Jerry kind of sucks at sliding drinks down this bar. Or I do. You use this meter at the bottom to power up Jerry's slide, but this meter is so sensitive, going slightly under or over the min or max letters will cause the drinks to either go too far or too short. Half the time, the animals that came to my bar would get up and leave, which is understandable, to be honest. Candy Workshop. Something looks familiar with this title screen. I hate this game. I have no idea what's going on here. Contest. Well, we had animal contest, so is this just a contest? Oh, maybe it's contest. You fly a pink spaceship that needs to kill this white spaceship while flying around this tiny room. Oh, and you have to avoid this yellow energy ball thing. How fun!
Cookies Labyrinth.
This name sounds like a twisted spin-off of Ned's Declassified. So you're a mouse that needs to traverse a maze and collect cookies. The only thing special about this one is that there's no music, which is actually a plus for this one. But as for gameplay, I couldn't seem to get past this weird looking guy in level 2 because the hitbox on this mouse is horrible. I tried several times to get past this guy. I went slow, I went fast, I went everywhere in between, but nothing I did worked. Horrible game.
Crystal Blast!
Whoa, JJ the jet plane does not look happy. Well, let's find out why. So you're supposed to break every orange orb on the screen to advance the level. So you try to drop an acorn, because I guess acorns break orange orbs, remember that, kids? But here's the catch. It may look like I'm flying JJ across the screen, but I'm not. He flies himself across the screen, so the only thing I'm doing is dropping his acorns. But he moves so fast, and because the designers of this game have no idea what they're doing, you can drop an acorn, have it literally fall through the orbs, and bust none of them. Also, something funny I heard in this game, listen to the music. Hey, I recognize that tune. It's the Alphabet Song and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Just wow. Deformable. We got a car and an airplane on this title screen. Let's check out the game. Ah! It's Road Fighter. It's Road Fighter. It's split screen Road Fighter. And it's just as bad as every other Road Fighter clone I've ever played. I never want to see Road Fighter again. And this console has so many versions of Road Fighter that it's not even funny. Now let's take a minute to step back from the games and talk about the music present on the console. Music in video games can make or break a game to some extent. Yes, there are actual Nintendo games on here, no doubt stolen games, but yes, there are actual Nintendo games on here. And the music usually is quite good. Here is the music track from level 2 of the popular game Double Dragon 2. Take a listen. That right there. One of my favorite music tracks from any video game, just being honest. Now, let's listen to that exact same audio from the Jamswell. Yeah, I mean, you could tell it's the same song. It's missing a few parts, but for the most part, it's still there. Now for the original games, and this is going to get fun. Here is the music from a game called Mowing, wherein you mow your lawn while avoiding a dog. Great, must be a pit bull, whatever. Anyway, listen to the music. Here we go. Okay, stop it. I'm not lying. That music actually physically hurt my ears when I was listening to it. One more, let's keep going. Here's another song from another game on this console. Okay, that's enough of that. This video has been a nightmare to make. Do you know how many hours I've spent listening to that music and playing these awful games? Too many to count. Let's just keep going. Dejectile. A more appropriate name would be Projectile, followed by Vomit, because that's what I want to do after playing this. It's just a Bomberman clone, but the visuals are so vibrant and annoying that I'm getting a headache looking at this. Let's just move it along. Egg contest. Alright, so we've had contests for both animals and spaceships, so why don't we go full circle and have a contest about eggs? So Jerry Mouse is back, and this time he's stealing eggs. I'm guessing he lost his job at the bar and is now reduced to a life of crime. Anyway, Big Swole Chicken up here. I was gonna say another word for chicken that starts with a C. You get what I'm saying. Even though that would be a rooster. Not a chicken. Anyway, anatomy of birds aside, this game is just plain awful. The conveyors that transport the eggs that Jerry must steal are designed in the stupidest way imaginable. Why is there a super long conveyor right there that leads off screen? Jerry can't go that way. I tried. He just comes back on the other side. What even is this? And sometimes there will be way too many eggs that fall at once, which Jerry's little eggs can't catch up to in time. Escapeway is really bad, and I mean really bad. Once again, it took me forever to figure out what I was doing wrong on this one. You play as a stack of spheres with faces. The one on the bottom is really cool. So when I first played it, I figured you had to jump this stack of circles over obstacles. And that worked until I got to this green sun thing. I tried for about 5 minutes, the same level over and over again, but I could not make this jump no matter how hard I tried. And that was when I realized that the guy with sunglasses is actually the sphere that you control. If he's on the bottom, the whole stack will jump, but if he's in the middle or top of the stack, only the balls above him will jump. Why was this not explained right away? I would assume that a child would play this game, and the average child probably wouldn't be able to put those pieces together and advance the stage. Even me, a 20-something-year-old, took a while to figure that out. Maybe I'm just an idiot. You know, that's probably why. Fairy's Treasure. I think I'm supposed to collect those diamonds, but I can't even control the fairy. This game is operated with a single button. You press that button, and the fairy will fly in whatever direction she pleases, and maybe pick up an object. Most of the time, she'll just fly off screen and then come back moments later. It's really remarkably terrible. Falling blocks. Okay, so I can see that this is Tetris, but only half the screen is utilized. You've got bootleg Kirby watching you in the middle here, which is weird. I guess if you like Tetris, it's fine, even though it's severely altered and just weird. Did I mention this game is weird? Because it is. Faded Pirate.
Yarg, join me, bootleg Beard the Pirate, for a jolly game. Arg, fire the cannons to the north and the south, but only the north and the south. Arg, aye, if some of them beatniks from the east and west come at us, it's man overboard. Have fun, matey.
Final Blood.
That is definitely Times New Roman. And it's another boring cannon game where you sit in a tank and shoot at trucks. Hoop-de-doo! Fish story. Eat the smaller fish and become a bigger fish. That's the end of the story. 'Tis a tale that will be told through the ages. Fling bow! So this is a game where you pin yourself up against AI. You shoot things out of this cannon at pictures of candy and stuff on a wall. But as an added challenge, you got the little red robot guy from Jimmy Neutron that will walk to and fro and catch the ball you're shooting. Makes sense. Kind of fun, I guess. Well, let's see how the AI does. Wait a minute. Why isn't the robot moving? He was moving when I was going. Why is the AI's aim perfect? Unfair! I call unfair advantage. This is stupid! Stupid! Ah! Forest Adventure. Pay attention to this little orange demon here because he'll be showing up in other games. Anyway, Forest Adventure is a platformer that has terrible controls, impossible jumps, and disgusting glitches. Look at the screen when I complete a level. Why does it do that? As far as I saw, this is the only game on this console that does this. There's no excuse for this to happen. Is it a poor emulator, a glitch in the system, or is the Jamswell slowly becoming self-aware that it's full of crap and it's starting to kill itself? We may never know. Fruit Gift. The names are getting worse. And hey, look at that, another stolen asset. This time it's from Hanna-Barbera because we got ourselves Fred Flippin' Flintstone right there. I'm not even gonna talk about the game, it's bad. What more do you need to know? Ghost Castle. The park ranger from Yogi Bear has a candle that shoots lightning. Breathtaking. Wow, what an intro. The only thing I don't like about this is that once that excruciatingly long intro sequence ends, and you see the actual logo and title, it's only on screen for a whopping 2 seconds before the game demos itself. But I've looped it as I've been talking here so you too can gawk at its glory. Greedy. This is another snake game. It's not even that hard, the snake moves super slow. It took me almost 5 minutes to beat the first 2 stages. As soon as I made it to level 3, the game began to speed up and become challenging. Oh boy, a couple blocks in the middle of the stage. Oh boy, I wonder how I could possibly complete this one now. It's not even that hard, and the levels after that just add more and more blocks. Honestly, the only way you can get a game over is if you voluntarily sacrifice yourself. Horrible.
Hammer and nail.
You ever want to play a game where you play as a hammer and pound living, breathing nails into holes? Well, this is not that game. These nails rarely go to the X's that you need to pound them on. And if they do, the sloppy controls of this game make it almost impossible to strike your hammer at the right time. Pathetic. Happy Match. It's the same concept as Twin Cards, except when you complete a stage, you get this. I don't know what this is, a bear, a rabbit, I don't care, but he's definitely dancing in your face. Knock it off, man! You look like an idiot!
Ice ocean.
So you're a mermaid that has to throw bubbles up at some stacks of fish. Well, that's what I thought you were supposed to do. Actually, your goal is to throw bubbles at the ice ceiling above you and break every block, a la Ice Climber. Well, it doesn't really work that way, because when you throw your bubbles at the ceiling, they become literal rocks that fall down and kill you. In what world does such a small chunk of ice sink in the ocean that fast? Looney World? Well, speaking of Looney World, here's IQ Champion. I just have to comment on this title screen again. We got knockoff Mega Man hitting some sort of karate move with a happy sun in the background. A bee flies across the screen, revealing the game title in level 1. And all in all, it looks like it was crappily made in MS Paint. Now to the game itself. Mega Man vomits little balls of milk, I guess, upwards towards bees and the occasional mosquito. What caused Mega Man to become so sick in the first place, though? It must have been something pretty bad, because he's as pale as a vampire who hasn't left the house in 12 years. I got nothing else to say about this one. Island. Hey look, it's the guy from Forest Adventure again, and he's offering me a fresh slice of Gouda cheese. Well, I'm not hungry right now, and I don't think I will ever be again after playing this trash pile. You just kind of walk around this island kicking eggs off of it and into the ocean. And sometimes the eggs grow legs and try to kill you. I don't even know. And when you die, Forest Adventure Guy just kind of violently nods his head for a really long time until the stage resets. It's just bad. Jump, jump. Oh, hey, whoa, 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 whoa! Here's our first repeat from this exact same console. We found one, so I can now say, without a single shadow of a doubt, that 400 number on the main menu is a complete sham. Jumping Kid.
A kid stranded at a carnival must make his way to his parents by jumping over giant frogs and sometimes small elephants.
Yeah, it's bad, but did I have to tell you that? Lightning!
Little witch!
So this is an impossible game where you play as a little witch on a broomstick flying over a river where killer purple fish and treasure chests on rail carts try to murder you. Well, at least that's what happened on my first attempt. When I hit restart, I noticed that I wasn't seeing any enemies. They appeared on my mini-map, but I never made contact with one. I assumed one of those maniacal fishes would appear to end my game, but they never did. It was almost like their AI had become confused because they appeared to be going around in circles outside of the play area. I waited for over 2 minutes until one of those fish finally showed up again, and when they did, I died again. What a pointless game. Eggs fall onto either that podium on the left or the one on the right. And what do you do with the eggs when they land there? Well, they are magic, so you must do something to them. You break them. Every single one of them. And not just the green eggs, but the women eggs. And, well, actually, they're all green. Anyway, if you let the eggs hatch, you get some weird things that come out of them, like purple stars, or red guys, or blue guys, and they just get sucked through a tube if you don't kill them. So what's the point of all this? As far as I'm aware, there isn't one. You just keep breaking eggs forever and ever 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 and ever.
Man in Red.
Are we talking about Santa? That is not Santa. And you're just shooting UFOs out of the sky with your rifle there. Something I found interesting in this one was if you hold down the turbo A button, this guy just kind of has a panic attack. Meccano! Okay, so earlier we had Quarth, which actually turned out to be Meccano by accident. So maybe the creators of this system just mixed those two ROMs up and just mixed the names or something? Let's find out. Nope, it's just Meccano again. Same game, nothing's different. Miro. Oh, never mind. Mirror Devil World. There is an actual game called Devil World for the NES, and it's on this console, but it's not very good. And neither is this, because Forest Adventure Guy is back again, but this time he's avoiding the literal devil shooting fireballs at him. This guy gets around, I tell ya. There's not really any goal here. You just kind of run around in this little platform until you die. There's no attack button, no jump button. You really can't do anything. Ugh, it's horrible. Mouse Snare. Okay, that is definitely Tom and Jerry. They're not even trying to hide it. That is clearly Jerry. But that? Well, that's obviously supposed to be Tom. The game actually has nothing to do with this beloved duo. Nope, it's actually just a copy of Minesweeper. That's all it is. And that's all it ever will be. Mouse Hero. This dog, who is clearly a burglar of some sorts due to the size of his bag there, runs back and forth on top of a wall. All the while, two mice at the bottom hold a trampoline in order to save the bears that are being tossed over the wall by that dog. Why? How? I got nothing for you. Sometimes this pesky dog will try to stump these mice by throwing down bombs ever so often. But it's pretty easy to avoid. If you choose not to avoid them, they don't even kill you. You just send them back up and they'll explode on contact with the dog. This game was going pretty well, and I had hopes that it might get better and actually be a fun experience. That wasn't until I got to level 4. Bears fly down the screen that are almost impossible to catch. You don't have a chance to win, man. Like, sometimes you just lose for no reason. Look at that! He bounced off the trampoline, which should cushion his fall, but instead of him landing safely, which, well, you know, would actually happen in real life, he just dies! Game over! Ugh! Nutcracky! Well, we had Nuts Milk earlier. Maybe this is a spin-off? Well, that is one happy nutcracker. That might actually be a bulldog wearing a British Guard uniform. I don't even know. Anyway, the game is essentially the video game adaptation of the Nutcracker musical everyone knows. You got the princess up here, and you have to walk over to her in order to beat the level. The only things that can stop you, which aren't even that hard to avoid, are the giant mice people from the musical. I feel like that show is getting the short end of the deal here. The story of the Nutcracker isn't terrible, but the video game spin-off sure is. Think about it. The creators of this system went to the Nutcracker Ballet, watched it, and were inspired to make a video game about it. But what they made was an abomination that's horrendously boring, incredibly easy, and just garbage. And they also called it Nutcracky, which is just... why?
Pindable crystal ball.
What does pindable mean? Is that even a word? Anyway, Forest Adventure is back, but he's purple this time. All you gotta do is traverse this stage and collect every green orb without dying. It's not even hard to do it. It took me about 30 seconds to beat the first level. And the second level was just the same thing, except you got purple Pac-Man over here now. I ask again, why? Police dog... Lassie? Did they mean lady? Whatever. You play as a police dog who must find and dig up all of the valuables stolen by a burglar who decided to bury them all in his yard. This is a basic memorization game. The only challenge comes from the time limit and the bombs that the burglar planted for some good reason. You will always find a bomb. No matter what! Every time!
Police versus thief, violent chasing!
This is a relatively easy chasing game where you, the police car, must catch the criminal in the getaway vehicle. This one is pretty easy if you can figure it out. You can't go backwards for some reason, so you'll have to resort to taking certain routes to catch the criminal. Level 1 has you playing in a city. Yeah, makes sense. Level 2 in a desert. Weird that there'd be a superhighway in the middle of the desert, but yeah, okay, whatever. And level 3 has you playing in the middle of the ocean. What? Why would there be a superhighway in the middle of the ocean? Do the makers of this game not understand how highways work? Lesson for you guys here. Typically, highways are cross-country, not cross-continental. My guess would be the lazy developers just pasted a different background onto each level without actually looking at what their creations looked like before releasing them. Pathetic. Pong Pong. It's a bumper car game that doesn't work. Power Robot. Our second repeat.
Pulveration.
It's a tank game that's a reskin of the Bugs game from the 64 one. It was okay on that one, and it's okay on this one too. Rabbit Village. It's a game where you're rescuing rabbits from a burning building. You have this chairlift thing that picks them up, but you have to avoid the demon hippo crocodile thing from dropping bombs on you. Boring and terrible. 2 for 1! River Jump. I don't even know anymore. You play as Elmo from Sesame Street, and you have to jump across this river by strategically placing your jumps on the ice chunks that correspond to the shapes Elmo stands on. And when you complete a stage, Elmo does this weird dance. Every time. Just calm down, man.
Seaport Girl.
The developers of this one forgot how to spell guard, so they just put whatever letter they realized would make sense. Once I got into the game, I realized how much I hated this console, and that this game sucks. You have to shoot down every turret on that big boat, but it's just impossible. You can't aim this stupid thing properly, so it just doesn't work. Seawolf. Disgusting. Space Base. Gross. Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2? This is an unlicensed Spider-Man game. You play in a boss battle against Dr. Octopus that never ends. Once you kill him the first time, you get to do the same thing again, over and over and over again, until you just gotta put down the system and never touch it again. Spider-Man 1, except the menu says this is Spider-Man 3. Never mind that, let's see this game. This one is even worse than Spider-Man 2. First off, why is Spider-Man putting out fires? Second, why is Spider-Man putting out fires with his webs? Wouldn't his webs just catch fire too? Third, this game doesn't work, just like every other game on this system, just like this whole system. Ugh! It's so funny to me that the makers of the Jamswell chose to make 2 Spider-Man knockoff games. And why Spider-Man? They've already stolen enough assets. From Disney, they stole Chip on the title screen, and they've stolen Mickey Mouse's face. I guess now they're taking out of Marvel's pocket and just taking out Spider-Man and throwing it on there. It just doesn't make sense to me. Spring World is next, and it's the same game as Pindable Crystal Ball, whatever it was called. Nothing's really different here, except that Forest Adventure guy is now orange again. Why is this console so lazy that it keeps rehashing the same games out over and over again? Just why? Submarine. It's just another rehash. Again! But this time it's a rehash of that Coast Guard game from way earlier. Just... Thruman! Everyone's favorite superhero, Thruman, is here! This game is pretty unique in that I've never seen anything like it before. Well, this intro section is a pretty basic shoot-'em-up game until you go through the... let's try that again. And okay, let's really concentrate this time. And yes! I got through the tunnel. But now the game is actually impossible. Look at this! I can't see where I'm supposed to be aiming here. Enemies are coming out of nowhere and you have milliseconds to react. I tried to get through this section several times, and each time I ended up dying. I tried not moving, hugging the corners, everything, but I just couldn't get past it. And it was at this point that I put the console away for the night and moved on the next day. Thruman? More like Pooh Man, am I right? Hey, have you ever wanted to play a matching game that just doesn't work? Well, here's Toy Factory. You got 4 tubs down there, a green one, a red one, a blue one, and a recycle one, and you need to match the toys that fall into these conveyor belts there. Sounds pretty easy, right? Well, it's not, because there are toys that fall down that you do not want to keep. And what are those, you may ask?
Bombs?
How did you know that?
Because it's always bombs in these games?
Well, you're right, because you need to recycle the bombs that fall. Why, you may ask? Because they need to recycle the old bombs to make new bombs, obviously, and the other toys that fall I wouldn't even really consider toys. Balls? Okay, well, maybe that, but alarm clocks? Alarm clocks? Last time I checked, no kid out there is dying to play with his alarm clock. Duh, I hate this game.
Utmost warfare!
It's kind of like Galaga if the enemies in that game flew into view out of nowhere. This is just that Thruman level all over again. Vigilant. Great. It's Gradius, but terrible. Let's keep going.
Warzone.
Okay, this one almost got me. So you pilot this helicopter and you have to send soldiers through this maze thing to get to one of those turrets up top. But that doesn't make sense because if you're flying an attack chopper, why wouldn't you just use that to destroy the turrets instead of wasting ground militia? These soldiers are not hardened either. Not at all, for they die every time they get close to the turrets. There's also a second turret, but you don't get to try that one. Nope, only the one on the left. This game has 2 modes, attack or defend. I just described attack mode to you, but the defend mode is just unfair. This time you control the turrets and the AI controls the attack chopper. But the AI in this game actually knows how to play, so you will lose to them every single time. But there is one thing this game has that none of the others on this entire console have. A help screen. That's right, this game actually has a screen that tells you how to play the game. But that screen is horrendously broken and features every sprite flickering. And also, there's just a random turret in the middle of the text here. I mean, at least they tried to explain how to play this game so you'd actually have an idea of what you're going into before you start. Water pipes! Wild Worm. The demon animatronic tree from the Rainforest Cafe overlooks a worm eating smaller worms until it becomes a big worm. Or maybe that's a caterpillar. Whatever. This game just aggravates my hatred of wasps even more. Why do you always have to kill me? You come out of nowhere and don't give me a chance to win. I hate you, wasp! You're my wonder ball. This is an infuriating game where you shoot balls into the corresponding holes of the same color. Half the time the balls you shoot don't go where they're supposed to, and it's just bad. Lunation! So you're an escaped convict that must climb the pipe from Super Mario, all the while avoiding being shot by arrows, ninja stars, and boulders being dropped from above on your head. This game had potential, sure. But of course the Jamswell had to go and mess that up too, because while you may not see it in the footage here, the controls were all delayed. Heavily! So that made it almost impossible to avoid any of the obstacles. Unbelievable! I didn't have this problem in any other game except this one. Why? There's no reason for this to happen here. It just does to further aggravate me! Strong Pujik. According to the main menu, this one is actually called Strong Pill. Okay then, you play as Cream Sketch guy who must get to the glowing heart. On your way there, you must move these pots of gold that stand in your way. It's a tedious puzzle game, but it's not the worst game on the system. Not by a long shot. Apple Chess. This is not chess, therefore I hate it. I also hate chess, so I would hate this game even if it was chess. Fish War. You're a fish that eats the bigger fish to become a bigger fish. I think we've seen this concept a million times before. Shot put. This is a repeat from the 64 one. When I reviewed that system, I couldn't get these Olympic games to work. But now I have a chance for redemption. So here we go. Yes! Finally! Redemption is mine! Let's try again! Wait, no! No! Why isn't it working anymore? Why Olympic Games? Why?
Presents to start Orchard Kvass. Welcome. Level 1.
You're a troubled child who shoots bubbles up at insects in a tree. Wow, great game. With such a hyped up intro screen, I was sure this was going to be a good one. But it's not. Hard to believe at this point in the video, I know. But it's not. Trooper! Great! Same concept as Orchard Kvass. Same concept as all those other games I've seen here today. It's just the cannon shooting game. It's just the guy having a seizure while shooting a machine gun up at UFOs game. What is this horrid system? Well, that was pretty bad. Let's see what we have next. What? Super Mario? This is just Super Mario again. This is just Mario 14 again. This means the games start repeating at number 313, so that once again further confirms that that 400 number is a complete lie. All of these repeated games are the same ROMs. I guess you could say playing an actual Nintendo game is a breath of fresh air after playing all those garbage games, but the fact still remains. This console is chopped full of repeated games, even down to Contra 24-in-1, still containing 24 broken ROM hacks of the original Contra game. This is sad and pathetic, I sat there for hours and hours and hours playing these horrendous custom games just to be further slapped in the face when I beheld virtually the same title screen as page 1. You know what, I should say there are some pretty funny names in the repeats, like World of Devil 5, which is just Devil World, Chess 2, which I guess finally came out, but it's only on this console, Balloon Fight 3, Baseball 2, Donkey Kong 5, 7, 6, and 4 in that order. The list goes on, but I did see 2 games in these repeats worth checking out, so here we go for one last time. Beans! And it's Pac-Man, made by Namcot and TouchGamePlayer.com. And it's a ROM hack of Pac-Man that doesn't run correctly. Like, it's running slower than it needs to. If you like Pac-Man and Beans, I guess go for it. 3 Pigs, number 400 on this console. Here we go, 3 Pigs, let's do it. Pooyan? Excuse me? It's another version of Rabbit Village from earlier that doesn't work. You have to shoot arrows at these cat things because I guess they look evil, but half the time your arrows just bounce right off them. You know, kind of what arrows are not supposed to do. God forbid these cats make it safely to the ground because they will climb ladders and stand directly behind you, all of a sudden turning into alligator-cat hybrids? What? Also, look at this animation that plays when you die. That is so unnecessary.
Too many horrible games! I hate all of them!
So is that it? Am I free? Am I? I guess so. I guess that's the end of the console. There's no more? Oh, okay. I guess this is a lesson to you guys. If you see this console on Amazon, ignore it. Because this crap box has caused me enough trouble all day, and I don't want to pass that on to you. Look, I'm trying to be a nice guy here. I'm not going to do that. So, that's the end of that.
And I'm never going to have to review another bad console ever again. No.